Dark Eagle woke up at 2 a.m., and Queen was already up writing in her pad. She wrote, "Dear Buffalo Soldier. Dear Buffalo Soldier, I know how the years have worn you down. More than a century in age, life has put you in and out of the fire, since you've been around. The trials, temptations, and tribulations of time has created wisdom, understanding, and knowledge that many don't know of. Living that long you had to know, the man up above. Rugged old soldier, it's time to let you go in peace. I have held on to you for all these years. But it's time to let you go, give you peace, and myself relief. I've kept the knowledge you instilled within me. Back then, it seemed like you were the only one that cared. And I cried, until I could cry no more. Giving myself the reality, that you are truly gone. All I can do is remember the times we shared. Some say you were very, very mean. But I'm glad the times we shared weren't a dream. A sad song, but a happy one as well. Your spirit is within, and I feel a lot closer to you. I've gotten a lot bolder, so farewell. Buffalo Soldier." Whatcha writing, Queen? Closing the pad as she wiped a tear from her eye, she smiled. Just some thoughts about what we were talking about earlier. Dark Eagle said, "Well, if you're ready to get down on some of that tender catfish. What we call, back home, good eating, this afternoon, we better get started." They loaded up the wagon and headed to the lake, half a mile north. In front of the lake was a canoe with all the accessories needed for them to enjoy their day. Queen noticed Dark Eagle in deep thought as they got to the center of the lake. She smiled, "A penny for your thoughts." He smiled, "What do you know about that?" She replied, "Auntie Isabella always asks me that when she sees me thinking." He hesitated, "I had a dream last night, and it's been a long time since I've had one like that. In my dream, I saw a black bear, but only Louisiana has black bears. Anyway, this bear was here in Arizona, and it stirred up some killer bees, and the bees started killing everything and everyone in its path. When they sting you, they would drain your soul. Many became heartless and soulless, like zombies or something. The bear rose up and began protecting everyone, and those that touched the bear called him Orso Nero. It took a while, but the people that touched the bear, they turned into great and fierce animals, and together they started destroying the killer bees. The more the killer bees grew, the more people started touching the black bear, and they defeated the killer bees, and you were beside the bear." Queen said, "That sounds crazy." Dark Eagle said, "Some killer bees turned and started fighting with the black bear. Then suddenly, a great demon arose out of the ground and started fighting the black bear, but Sabaoth shined a light on the monster and defeated it." Puzzled, Queen asks, "What does your dream mean, great uncle?" Dark Eagle said, "I have no idea, but I bet it has something to do with what they are building in Phoenix." Queen curiously asks, "What's that?" Dark Eagle looked at Queen. "Many have left here to live a life of luxury and contentment because of the city's bubble. That is why." Dark Eagle felt something pulling on his line. "Got something?" Dark Eagle got excited. "I got something too, great uncle." Queen shouted. "Reel it in slowly and tug ever so gently, so it thinks something is resisting, and it lodges the hook in deeper as it fights back." 4 hours had passed, and they had 6 catfish, a bass, and a few smaller fish before the sun rose. "I love seeing the sunrise and setting in this place, it's so tranquil," said Dark Eagle as he sat in the canoe and looked at the sunrise. Queen said, "It is beautiful, but I have nowhere else to compare it with." Dark Eagle shook his head, "Maybe one day, you will." Dark Eagle hesitated for a while. "I brought you out here because I realized you are coming of age now, 11 years old, and you will soon be a woman. You see, men have to go through different obstacles and trials to prove that they are men. But women, well, you go through all kinds of things that make you a woman." Queen said, "What things?" being sarcastic, as a single sweat beaded on Dark Eagle's brow. You guys have periods, Anne." Laughing, Queen said, "Like Aunt Isabella always says, I was born at night, but not last night, great uncle." "I know about that stuff already, great uncle, but I thought Aunt Isabella was supposed to be talking to me about this kind of stuff. My friend, Yuka, started hers a week ago, and I have read a few books about it. I understand that the menstrual cycle occurs when you get to a certain age, and it's different for every girl. Anywhere from 11 to 14 years old, they grow pubic hair, and their breasts bud. Menstruation is the elimination of the thickened lining of the uterus from the body through the vagina containing blood, cells from the lining of the uterus, and mucus. Queen noticed Dark Eagle felt uncomfortable as she spoke but continued, the average length of a period is between 3 days and 1 week. Then comes the follicular phase. It starts on the first day of menstruation and ends with ovulation. Ovulation is the release of a mature egg from the surface of the ovary. Dark Eagle started scratching his head. But she continued, the egg is funneled into the fallopian tube and toward the uterus by waves of small, hair-like projections. The lifespan of the typical egg is only around 24 hours. Unless it meets a sperm.